Okay, hello everybody. Welcome to Korean Atlanta Mentorship. Here with another video, and I'm going to tell you something that I don't think you've heard anywhere else, right? And a lot of people think like the more money you make, oh, it's because you were sophisticated and you batted 10 for 10 and you never made a mistake, right? That's what a lot of people think if you have money. Like you never get scammed. That scams are for poor people, right? And I would argue it's kind of like suing people, okay? Now, I don't know if you ever heard this analogy before or this kind of line of thought, but who would you rather sue? Would you rather sue a rich person or a poor person? The answer is it's best to sue a rich person because they have money and they're going to pay. Whereas poor people, even if you win, you can't get money from them. It's like, I don't know if you ever heard the phrase, it's like trying to like collect blood from a stone. You can't collect blood from a stone. Okay? So this is why that if you're going to scam people, much easier to scam rich people than poor people. Okay, and as you make more money, you're going to have these blind spots because the way that you probably made money is that you are really good at this one thing. Okay, whatever it is. Maybe you make great hamburgers, right? And you need to rely on other people for goods and services, and you can't honestly not tell who's legit or not unless you've done business with them before one time, right? People can tell you all the best things about themselves, fancy PowerPoints, give you all the documentation that they need to do business with them, but you never really know if that person is legit or not until you've actually done business with them. Which is why, as you make more money and you're let's say you have a big company, you need a solution that is going to have to require a lot of money, right? So let's say you have like a software solution that's supposed to help your business. Well, if you're a company making billions of dollars, well, the people that want to do business with you to provide a solution are going to ask for millions of dollars to help your billion-dollar company. Now, I don't know if you've ever heard of the world of enterprise failures, right? Enterprise failures. So big company failures. They're not like things you find on like the nightly news, but you can easily find them with a couple of Google searches, right? So I don't know if you ever heard of the company. I don't know how you pronounce it. Lidl. It's kind of like Aldi's brother. That's what I call it, Lidl. So Lidl. And then, so this is a big German supermarket chain, right? They make 114 billion euro a year. And they decided, hey, we're going to invest in a software solution. $600 million, okay? So I don't know about you, but if I paid someone $600 million for software, it better work, right? Because there are apps on the Google Marketplace or Google Store that's like $9.99 that are fantastic that actually work. And you would think like, oh, well, this big and powerful company, if they pay hundreds of millions of dollars, at least the software should work. And then it turns out it didn't, right? So they ended up paying a lot of money, and not only that, they scrapped it. They scrapped it, only to abandon the project and revert back to its legacy platform. Now, here's the crazy part, right? As you make more money, your ability to figure out what's a scam or not goes down. Like when you're poor, your ability to tell what's a scam is actually higher. Like you have a higher, I don't know if sensitivity is the right word, to figure out if something's a scam. But if you're rich, that's kind of almost out the door, right? Like you can't figure it out because you get locked into these very high dollar contracts because people who try to sell to you will only do it for a high dollar price. That's kind of like the let's say the downside of being rich. And because you can't tell whether something's legit or not, and you have lots and lots of money, you're much more likely to get scammed, right? And not only that, you're much more likely to make terrible business decisions as well. Like another example of this, okay? Actually, before I go into the other example, I just want to show you this right here, who they did business with, which is SAP. So SAP is like I think it's a software company, right? They're on the New York Stock Exchange, so they're on the biggest. What's FWB? Yeah, Frankfurt Stock Exchange. So they're on the Frankfurt Stock Exchange, New York Stock Exchange. I don't know what DAX is. It must be some German thing because this is a German company. But what I'm saying is this, right? If one of the biggest companies that are public in the world is on the New York Stock Exchange, and you're, let's say, another company, huge company, that makes billions of dollars a year, and you say, hey, this is legit. They're on the stock exchange. They make lots of money. They couldn't do us wrong. Nope, that's not true. $600 million disaster, right? Now, that's a drop in the bucket for them because they make over 100 billion a year, but see it still, 600 million is still 600 million, right? But that's what I mean. Like, you can have all the money in the world, but the fact that you have all the money in the world makes you for a target for scams, and even things that look official um, don't they it doesn't mean that it's legit. Maybe legit on paper, but not legit in real life, if that makes sense, right? So now let me go back to my other example, which is Target Canada. So I don't know if you knew this or not, but Target, once upon a time, tried to go to Canada. Okay, Target Canada. And so what they ceased operations in 2015, and they had 17,000 employees. Now, what's crazy is if you just kind of take a look, there's with ChatGPT here, Target lost $5.4 billion trying to go into Canada. And it's because they effed up majorly, right? Poor decision making. Okay. So let me actually just read this out loud for you.
Target Corporation's expansion into Canada through its subsidiary Target Canada proved very costly. For the full year 2013, Target Canada posted a US $941 million loss before interest and taxes. Global news. When Target announced its exit from Canada in January 2015, it expected a US $5.4 billion pre-tax loss for the fourth quarter, largely due to impairment write-downs of the Canada business. Time. In its 2015 annual report, the company reported charges collectively totaling US $5.1 billion related to deconsolidation of the Canadian subsidiary. Annual reports. More broadly, during its brief time in Canada, Target Canada is often cited as having accumulated losses of about US $2.1 billion in operating losses, though the total cost including the write-downs was much higher. Wikipedia. So, while operating losses were in the low billions, the full cost of exit, including impairments, etc., reached US $5 billion. If you meant a specific year or metric, net versus pre-tax, impairment only, etc., I can pull that up too.
So you might be saying, well, how can this super big corporation, lose all that money? It's because having lots of money allows you to make really bad decisions in a very short amount of time. That essentially is it, which is why like having and managing money requires a lot of discipline, and not only that, if you don't want to lose it, you need to learn the art of risk management, which is what banks and insurance companies are masters at, right? But yeah, so that's kind of what I want to talk about in this video, about how if you have more money, okay, the the more you're going to get scammed, the more likely it is, and you cannot tell what's legit or not. And so a lot of people, when they see like, whoa, Alex Hormozy lost $100 million, how can you do that? Once you have that $100 million, you'll see how easy it is to lose, because things that give you FOMO and get you excited will will get you. But luckily, if you're Target and or Lidl and you make billions. Actually, let's look at Target's revenue. Target revenue. You make $100 billion a year, then 13, or actually 13, 2.1 billion, or whatever this is, 5.4 billion. It's not a drop in the bucket, but you'll survive if you make 100 billion a year, right? All right, well, that's it for today, folks. Korean Lancer Mentorship. So have a great day, and I'll see you on the next video.